Hey everybody, welcome back. This is question 3 out of 5 with Ken Vennera on Leaders Lead podcast. I'm Zach Husted, and I'm super excited to have with me one of my mentors and one of the key leaders that's instrumental in Warrior Rising. Ken, if you could just walk us through a little bit of your background real quick, and we'll dive right into question 3 out of question 5 today for the audience. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for your time.
Absolutely, Zach. Appreciate being here, man. Thanks for inviting me. As Zach mentioned, my name is Ken Vennera. I am Chief of Staff for Warrior Rising. Been with the organization for a little more than 5 years. Had a pretty good background in other veteran service organizations prior to that. It's one of my passions, obviously, supporting veteran causes and trying to help serve those who have served us, for sure. So, Warrior
Awesome.
Rising was founded back in 2015 by Jason Van Camp. Jason or is, I should say, a retired Green Beret officer. Jason wanted to help, those of his teammates and other veterans as well to rediscover purpose post, their military service. And so the idea behind Warrior Rising is not to, give a hand out, but rather to give a hand up. People who are serving in the military served with dignity. They want to maintain that dignity, post service. And so one of the things we try to do is help them achieve their goals through business ownership and do it in such a way that they can be proud of, proud of themselves, proud of, their objectives and so forth. So we offer them mentorship, we offer them instruction, we offer them tools that are necessary to help them, succeed, whether it's starting a new business from a concept, whether it's a franchise that they're doing, or acquiring an existing business, or just overcoming an obstacle that they might have, in a business that they've been operating. And we do this through parts of our program, our Warrior Academy, our Vet to CEO program, as well as our pitch competitions and other things that we do to bring those things to the veterans that we're trying to serve.
Yeah, Ken, you guys are doing great work. I love the mission, the purpose, the vision. I'm super thankful for what Jason started. I wrote this down as you were saying it. It's not a handout, it's a hand up. I think that's a really cool slogan that people should be proud of that are part of Warrior Rising, because it kind of goes back to the philosophical teach a man to fish versus giving him a fish, right? And teach him how to fish, and he can feed his family for a lifetime. So I think that's a really, it gave me a little bit of goosebumps right there. Um, that's really cool. I like that. Um, for those of you who don't know, I'm in Warrior Rising myself. If you missed it in the first 2 episodes, I'm part of the way through the journey. I'm hoping to compete against people heads up in the pitch. I got a little bit of a competitive spirit, and I got a good coach. He's sitting right here, and I thank him for being along this little crazy journey of Leaders Lead with me. I called him and said, "Hey Ken, do you want to do this?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" But we won't digress and go into that. Ken, question number 3 out of question 5. In terms of developing leadership, how do you guide teams um, at Warrior Rising that are transitioning from relying on that personality perspective to embracing process, right? And so that's a tough transition for people to think through. And I think you've shared some wisdom with me personally in the past on this, but how can you explain a little bit about that today?
Absolutely, Zach. And it's, a phenomenal question. One of the, I think, the hardest things, as human beings, especially as we progress in our education and our experience, is we tend to fall into the traps of thinking introvertedly, right, or thinking egocentrically, right, about what do we know, what are we experts at, things like that. When you're a leader, when you're trying to effectively lead a team of people, it's not about the individual, right? It's never about any individual on the team, whether it's the person at the top or any component member of that team. For those, I think, that had played team sports as a child, you realize that, right? Like, it's not about being a superstar. It's about lifting everybody up who's on the team and therefore reaching the objectives that you're trying to reach. So
Yeah.
I don't know that So to recap that, it's about overcoming your individual egocentric kind of personality traits and things like that, et cetera. I don't know that I would say necessarily that it's about embracing process as much as embracing objective, right? The
Hmm.
thing that bonds a team together is that you're all striving together to reach that objective, right? So again, using sort of the sports analogy, if you have a bunch of people on a football team, it's not about what the individual might be able to accomplish in terms of passing or yards, rushed, things like that, et cetera. It's about, is the team scoring at the end of the day? Because that's what wins the game. Somebody could have 5,000 yards rushing, but if the team is not scoring, you don't win, right? So again, it's sort of subjugating ego, individualism, right? Individual thoughts, etc., to a common purpose. And I think, if I could digress maybe just a little bit, I think it's what's missing in our society today. I think it's, one of the areas where we're suffering from most is that inability to put individual um, beliefs, individual thoughts, individual goals, behind common purpose, common drive. Um, and I think it's hurting us because when people are individualistic, when people are focused on themselves, whether it's within a corporation, an organization, whatever happens, or any group, right, any societal group that it might be, I think we suffer because no matter what our talents are individually, again, if we're not able to subjugate them to the betterment of the whole group, we're going to lose. We're not going to score points. We're not going to put points on the scoreboard. So that's something we just ever emphasize all the time. Getting everybody else's input, right? At the end of the day, it's not all about um, melding all of those opinions into some wishy-washy type answer, but it is about getting that input from everybody on the team, empowering them, making them feel like they're heard, and maybe their suggestion might be something that's better than an initial thought or an initial plan or an initial strategy, um, and just taking it from there. If everyone on the team is pushing towards that common objective with the same amount of emphasis and power behind it that they would normally do for themselves individually, it creates a tremendous amount of forward momentum or a tremendous amount of effort towards success.
Yeah. I I completely agree with you. And, one of the things that resonates really strongly with me is I keep this in front of me as a little reminder. So I created this little challenge coin at one of the companies I worked with, and it was it's nothing big, but it's a service coin that we gave out, and it's not an award that you can um, give somebody. Like, you can't buy it, you can't, there's all these things that you can't do, but what you can do is you can make it mean something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we did with this, and I'm really proud of it to this day still, is it says hashtag one team. And I've sent you messages and I'm like, one team, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I firmly believe in. It's the power of the team, and it's how do you move people forward, and how do you bring things together. And I remember, to play on that thread, is one of the first times we gave this out to a guy. His name is Glenn, and Glenn, I hope you're watching this, and I hope I don't embarrass you about this. But he's the guy that NASA calls when they have a problem, and one of the coolest dudes I ever met. And we gave it to him for something that meant something really dear, or he went like well above and beyond, and he demonstrated not I wouldn't say heroics, but just like this spirit of teamwork, right? And where he, like, it was all about the common mission, the common, um, putting everything beside that was like the personal stuff. And he's like, we gotta secure the mission, we gotta put the mission first. And we gave him, he was the first one, he was the first recipient of this coin. And I'll never forget what that meant to him in that moment, in that day. something as symbolic as this, and then what that teamwork really means. And so I keep this little momentum here with me, at my desk that I work at in front of me, and I got a wall of coins behind me. And but that one means probably something the most to me because it is part of that bigger thing. You got to put things behind, and it's about the bigger picture of the team.
Jason often says, Zach, and I know it's a phrase that's probably used in the military a lot, but, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. And that's
Ooh,
just a basic truth.
yeah, it's so true. And you can do so much more with a team. Hey, everybody, I would just want to say thanks for Ken for being here with us today. It's super, super powerful. I hope you've enjoyed hearing Ken's answer to question number 3 in the micro podcast today. Ken, what can we do to continue to lift up Warrior Rising? What can we do to continue to support you, your team, your guys' mission? What can the people do in Washington today help?
No, I appreciate you asking that, Zach, for sure. We need support. We need help. We need people spreading the word, telling others about what we're doing, how we're helping veterans reestablish purpose. You know, each of us has connections to people, telling them why we're doing it, why it's important, etc.,
Mhm.
so that they hopefully will come back to us and give up, basically their time, talent, or
Yeah.
treasure. We need mentors to help mentor the veterans. We need, support through monetary donations. We need connections, but most importantly, we need other people to join our team to help us, do the heavy lift that we're doing to try and help the veterans, become successful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for Ken for question number 3 out of question number 5. You can go check them out. All of their info will be in the comments below in this segment. But it's warriorrising.org. They're on all the major social media platforms. Ken, thanks again. And we're looking forward to the next little segment to hear more about what you have to say about leadership. Thanks again.